All right. Well, hello and welcome everyone. I want to welcome you to today's webinar, and we're going to be talking about something that is really important. Okay, it is one of the most important lessons within your Thinking Results program, and it's probably one of the most important lessons you'll ever learn. Okay. Now, before we get involved with this lesson, I want to just make sure that you guys can see and hear me clearly. I'm streaming to you today off my phone. So just want to make sure all the communication is good before we really get into it. So you can just raise your hand or just say hi to me just so I know that we're all good to go. All right, perfect, wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, now today we're going to be talking about the one thing that you can control in your life. Like, we can't control everything, okay? The one thing that you are in control of is yourself. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper than that. The one thing that you are in control of is your attitude. Okay, now your attitude, what you're going to learn today is your attitude is a combination of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Okay, so you can control your thoughts. Okay, you can't control the person, your spouse or your partner or your children. Like, you can't control them. Okay, you can try to, but that's not really going to work very well. But you can control yourself. You can control your perception, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Okay, so this is such an important lesson if you want to take control of your life. Okay, and this is going to really give you the freedom that you want when you start to make these ideas a part of your way of thinking and a part of your way of life. Okay, now what I'd like for you to do first of all today is just write down your goal on the top of a clean sheet of paper. Okay, just write it down, and we're going to be relating everything that you're hearing today to that goal. Okay, and that's exactly how you want to be studying this. Okay, anything that you're listening to, anything that you're watching or reading, relate all the ideas that are coming to you and think, how can I use this to help me increase my income, if that's what the goal that you have, or to develop a better relationship, or how can I use this to become healthier or happier? Like, that's what you really want to be doing, directing it towards a specific end. That's the way you want to study. Okay, that's how Bob's taught me how to study, and that's how I've seen the most improvements in my life, when I'm applying everything towards a specific end. Okay, so let's just take a minute and write the goal out. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to be going through attitude, right? Which is what we call the magic word. And if you want to follow along in your program guide, I'm going to be going through lesson 9 within the program. Okay, so you can follow along. You can underline and highlight as the key things stand out to you and the key things that you really want to work on. Just underline or highlight them. Okay, as you can, like, this book is just, it's a lot of highlights and underlines. All right, so let's just start off with the first paragraph. It says here, attitude is one of the most commonly used and yet most misunderstood words in the English language. Okay, and it really is. So many people will say, "Oh, I need to improve my attitude," but do they know actually what they need to improve? Okay, do they know what that really means? And most of the time, when you ask someone, they won't be able to give you a good answer. Okay, so by the way, if you guys have any questions or comments as we're going through today, just feel free to type them in, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Okay, let me just check something. All right, cool. Yeah. Okay, so all right, well, let's get into it. It says teachers tell students if they change their attitude, their grades will improve. Sales managers tell salespeople their attitude controls their sales. Okay. Counselors tell couples that to change their attitude and their relationship will improve. Okay. Now, you would think anything that packs this much power would be a subject that is taught from our very earliest age. And yet, if you ask the next 10 people you meet what attitude means, you'll probably get 10 different answers. Okay. When you have a good, clear understanding of what attitude is and how attitudes are formed, it will become very apparent that only a small percentage of the population are in control of their attitude. Okay. A very small percentage. In truth, their attitude is being controlled by the media, by other people, by conditions and circumstances in their life. Now, that is so true. Like, you know, most people wake up in the morning and they're in like neutral. Okay, so they're not in a good attitude or a bad attitude, they're just neutral. And they're going to be reacting to whatever's coming, in through their senses. So if something good happens, they're feeling great. They're having a great start to the day. If something bad happens, they're feeling shitty for the day. Okay, their attitude is being controlled by the outside world. Okay, by their conditions and circumstances. They're not setting their attitude first thing in the morning. I'm going to have a great day. Doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to stay in control of me. Okay, that is controlling your attitude. And then if something negative does happen or what appears to be negative, you have to look for the good in it. Okay, W. Clement Stone, he was one of the wealthiest men in America. At some point when he owned one of the biggest insurance companies in America. He had a saying, "That's good." So it didn't matter what happened. He said, "That's good." Okay. And then he would look for the good in it. That's having a good attitude. That's controlling yourself. Okay. So you want to set the intention that you're going to have a good attitude regardless of what happens, regardless of what your spouse says or your boss or anyone outside of you. You want to keep that good attitude. Okay. And this is going to take training, but you have to set that intention, right? Now it says, we encourage you to give this session serious attention because it can change your results faster and more dramatically than anything else. Okay. I think it was actually Tracy Rose that put a post in the Facebook group just a few days ago saying that someone gave her some tickets to a seminar that was worth about $4,000 purely because she has such a great attitude, right? And this is what attitude and improvement in your attitude can do. People who you see achieving great results in their life, people at the top of the company, they're not there. Their attitude isn't good because they're at the top of the company, or their attitude isn't good because they're getting good results in life. They're getting those great results because of their attitude. Okay. Now it says, William James said, the greatest discovery of his generation was that you could alter your life by altering your attitude of mind. Now, the point being that if there was any aspect of your life that you feel could stand a quick positive shift, William James just gave you this, the prescription. It said, actually, there's another example that I want to give you about having a great attitude and how it can really impact you. There's one of our clients, Samantha. She's like an elite athlete. Okay, so she does like the what would you call it? It's like Tough Mudder. So if you've been part of those races where they got to do the obstacle courses and stuff, like that's what she does. And she had been planning for a race that she went on the weekend, and I've been working with her closely to get her mind right for this race. And she messaged me saying that she came second, which was her first race for the season, and her attitude about coming second was so good. She was so happy. She was just had a phenomenal attitude. And I was saying to Nat, look how great her attitude is. And she's come second. Like, she wanted to come first, right? And then just yesterday, she sent me 2 days ago, actually, she sent me a message saying there was an error with the times, okay? Because they have their times get monitored by chips that are on their legs. There was an error with the times, and they sent out the new positions, and she actually came first. So she had an attitude of a winner, regardless of coming second. Okay, she was really grateful for coming second, but she had a winning attitude. And even though the results told her she came second, in reality, she actually came first. And not only did she come first, but the result came through via internet. But she actually, her time was better than the second person by 6 minutes. Like, that's huge, right? So now she qualifies to go into a more elite qualification and race, right? But that's what she really wanted. So controlling your attitude, regardless of the conditions and circumstances, plays such a huge part in the results that you get. And I think that's such a phenomenal example. And I really loved receiving those messages from her and speaking to her about it yesterday. But I thought that was a great example for you. Now it says, let's go a little further than that. Attitude is the composite of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay. It's not just your thoughts, nor is it just your feelings, but is your thoughts and feelings when combined and expressed in your action. Okay. Because that's exactly what happens, right? Our actions are an expression of our thoughts and feelings. Okay. So if you're, frustrated, if you're feeling frustrated, it's because of obviously the thoughts you're thinking and things that you're holding on to, and that must be expressed. Okay. And you can try and suppress it and suppress it, but it must be expressed some way through the body. Okay. And you don't want it to be expressed through illness, because it can be if you keep suppressing it. Okay. But your actions, it must be expressed physically. Okay. The thoughts and feelings. Now it says, to properly understand this, you have to take another look at the relationship of the mind to the body, and even how the conscious and the subconscious mind work, and further, how they work in relationship to one another. It says, the subject of attitude is so important that we want to take the time to deal with each part on its own and then bring them together. So we said it's the composite of thoughts, feelings, and actions. So let's take a look at thought. So on the top of page 137, it says, there is a creative power that is flowing into your consciousness. Okay. It has no form. It just is. Okay. Understand it's completely unadulterated. Like it is just, it's pure energy. Now, it's not negative or positive. As you begin to exercise your higher faculties, okay, you learned about this in lesson 5, okay, the higher mental faculties, and give form to this power, okay, through the images that you hold, the first stage of attitude begins. Okay, you are going to build either a positive or a negative image. That image is expressed on a conscious level through vibration, through words, gestures, and writing. Okay, so think about this, right? Your perception of a situation, whether it's your situation, your perception of someone else, your perception of your income, your perception of whatever it is that's going on right now in your life, that is your attitude. Okay. And what you're doing is there's power is flowing to and through you constantly. And if your perception is negative of the situation, if you're seeing the negative in it, okay, if you're seeing what's wrong in the situation, well, you're using this power that's completely pure, and you're recreating more of what you don't want. Okay, remember I said W. Clement Stone said, that's good. And then he looked for the good in it. So what he's doing, he's focusing his mind on what is good. And when you do that, you get more of what's good. Okay, so you're actually controlling the vibration that you're in. Okay, and we attract whatever is vibrating in harmony with us. Okay, so this is so important. It says you may or may not internalize that image. Okay, it says, for example, you could be watching a news broadcast or reading something of a very negative nature in a paper, or possibly listening to another person who is sharing a very negative concept. Okay, without any of this having any emotional effect on you. Okay, now for a lot of people, that would be very hard or very challenging for them to stay in control of themselves, regardless of what is going on outside. Okay, but if you've gone through this program maybe once, if you're still going through it, like, you want to be exercising that control every single day. Okay, because this is really the key to creating whatever it is that you want in life. You have to be in control of you. Okay. It says, on a conscious level, you have the ability to accept or reject any idea, whether you have originated it yourself or picked it up from an outside source. If that idea is not internalized, okay, if you don't get emotionally involved in it, it will have no effect on your emotions or on your physical body. Okay, you can literally reject a thought, even if it's created by yourself. You can reject something that someone says to you. Okay, and you know, you don't have to be rude to the person. Okay, but you can mentally reject it, and you can protect yourself. Like you have to protect yourself if you're around negative people. Okay, but you want to be looking for what's good. Okay, and that's going to keep your mind focused on what you want. It says, but let's take a look at what happens when the idea is internalized. Okay, the early Greeks referred to the subconscious mind as the heart. Because this subject is treated so lightly in most circles, when you hear people referring to the heart or the suggestion as a person thinketh in their heart, so are they, the average individual immediately begins to imagine the physical pump that sits lodged in their chest, aiding the circulation of their blood. Okay, that is not what the early Greeks meant. It is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is deductive. In other words, it has no ability to reject anything that is impressed upon it. Okay, you really want to highlight that point and really get it. Okay, your subconscious mind cannot reject. So if you're getting emotionally involved in something negative that's happening outside of you, well, you're accepting that. Okay, you have accepted it if it's making you feel bad. Okay, if you wake up in the morning and you start feeling bad, it's because, and like you haven't even dealt with anyone or any situations, because you're internalizing certain thoughts that you have that are making you feel bad. Okay, and that's impressing it upon your subconscious, which cannot reject it. Okay, now your subconscious cannot differentiate between good and bad, and it has no sense of humor. Okay, it is totally and completely subjective. Whatever is impressed upon it is accepted and simultaneously expressed in the body. Okay, now, you know, the subconscious mind is literally the universal side of yourself. Okay, like you can relate it to like the earth. Okay, the earth, you could plant any seed you want in that earth and it will grow. Okay, if it's nourished and if it's in the right conditions, it will grow. It doesn't matter if it's poisonous kind of plant, if it's a carrot, if it's a watermelon, doesn't matter what it is, it will grow if it's in the right conditions. Your subconscious mind is the same thing. It's only going to give back to you whatever you're planting. Okay, if you keep nourishing it, especially. It says the subconscious mind is the universal side of your personality. It is a side of the personality that connects one person to the next. Okay, so we're all connected. It does not recognize time or space and communicates through vibration. Okay, when we talk about connecting heart to heart, we are talking about two people being on the same frequency relative to the same concepts at the same time. Okay, you're resonating with someone. Whether you're resonating about something that's negative and you guys are really getting along speaking about something that's negative, or about something positive. Now, this is what love is essentially. You know, Bob says, you know, love is really resonance on three different levels. Consciously, you can consciously be in harmony with someone. Subconsciously, like it's an emotional connection. And then you have a physical connection, like a physical attraction. Okay, that's love and that's resonance. Okay, or you can think of a group of people, a team who have created a composite who are all in harmony with the same positive idea. That team will become an extremely powerful force moving toward a predetermined goal. Okay, now it says the nature of the idea that is impressed upon the subconscious mind or in the heart will determine the vibration or the emotion that is being expressed. And that is the feeling. If the idea is negative, the person will be expressing negative vibration or emotions. However, if it is positive, the emotions or vibrations will be positive. Okay, and this is something that you really want to be hyper aware of. Like, how are you feeling? You know, are you feeling really good? Are you feeling enthused? Are you feeling like you're creative and things are happening, or are you feeling stuck? And are you feeling you know, that things are going backwards and you're feeling really crappy? Like, that is giving you an indication of what you are attracting into your life. Okay, this is giving you an indication of what thoughts you're internalizing, and you're going to be sending those feelings out into the universe. Okay, and you will be getting a like energy back to you. Okay, I want to read something that I've read before. Okay, but it's in harmony with what I'm talking about right now. And it says, you know, man attracts what he is. The art of life is to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let things come to you, not to go after them or think they flee away. Okay, and that's the key. Like, you want to sustain the feeling of your goal being achieved. Okay, now if your goal is achieved, I'm sure you'd be feeling really good. Okay, now if you happen to have current conditions, circumstances that don't make you feel good, well, what can you do? Well, I would recommend you focus on your goal. Okay, you focus on the goal being achieved, and you focus on the feeling of the goal being achieved, because that is putting you in the spirit of that. Okay, you're entering into the spirit of it. So that's when you start attracting what it is that you want. Okay, because you are entering into the spirit, the feeling of having achieved what you want. But if you're entering into the spirit of the physical, okay, of the current circumstances, and you're getting fired up about what's going on, you're getting upset about what's going on, well, that's what you're entering into the spirit of, and you're going to get more of it. Just the way it works. And you can look at your current results, and you know that if you're doing this or not, and you'll see how it's playing out. Now, if you can see that it's playing out in a way that you don't want it to, then you got to stop getting into the spirit or getting emotionally involved with what is going on. You have to cut it out. Okay, I just want to read that to you. Now it says, you have the ability with your intuitive factor, one of your higher intellectual faculties, to pick up vibration from another person. Okay, so you can feel the energy from another person. Okay, it was actually something really incredible this morning. I was in the gym, and there's a guy that I've been seeing in the gym for the last couple of weeks, and I've never actually even said hi to him and never spoken to him. And he seemed a bit, I don't know, standoffish. But anyway, so today I thought, you know what, I'm just going to say hi to this guy, because I saw him, he was working out next to me, and I thought, I'm just going to say hello to him and you know, introduce myself. And anyway, for the last few weeks, I thought, man, this guy has to be like a police officer or something. Now, I don't know why I thought that, because what does a police officer look like? You know, it looks so many different ways, but there was something about him that just told me this guy is like a police officer. And so anyway, I got talking to this guy, and you know, I asked him, I said, what do you do? Because he said he had the morning off and he's working afternoon shift. I said, okay, well, what do you do? He said, I'm actually a police officer. I'm like, oh. I said, I thought so. And he looked at me and he said, what's that mean? I said, I don't know. I said, I just had a feeling that you're a police officer. You know, it's just an energy that you have. So my intuition was telling me that this guy is a police officer. Like, he has the energy of a police officer. It's not something that he verbally communicated with me. You know, it was not something that he was physically wearing. It wasn't his physical appearance, but it was his energy. Like, my intuition was able to pick that up, okay, because we communicate on a subconscious level, and I just knew it, right? And it was almost like a bit freaky when he told me, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time. Okay, so you have the ability with your intuitive factor, one of your higher intellectual faculties, to pick up vibration from another person. If the other individual is in a very negative vibration, you pick up on that energy. If you feel that another person is troubled, the odds are that they are troubled. Okay, so begin to utilize and believe your intuitive findings. Okay, play around with this. Like, see if you can just really focus on another person. This is how you can really develop your intuition, is focusing on another person. Okay, and just focus on their energy, and just like, you can feel it. You can feel if they're in a good mood. You know what? The person doesn't even have to be in the same room as you. You can tune into someone that's on the other side of the globe. You can tune into someone that's on the other side of the moon. It doesn't matter, because, you know, we're all connected. Like I said, you know, time and space don't matter. But I can tune into, you know, into Bob if I want. I can tune into, my mother who lives, on the other side of Melbourne. Like it doesn't matter. I can, whenever I have a feeling about any of you guys, if you pop into my head and I feel that, you need help or whatever, I'll just pick up the phone and call, and that's just the way I work, because I work on following my intuition all the time. Okay. I think there's a question that's been asked. Hang on a sec. I used to be so scared of you, Matt. Okay. When Matt was introducing me to TR, now I can't stop listening to you. You have a world of knowledge. Thank you for your support. You're welcome, Anna. I can't believe you used to be scared of me. Hopefully I am not scary to anyone else. But I'm glad that you can now enjoy listening to me. I didn't even know you. Well, yeah. I've never had anyone say they've been scared of me. I always thought of myself as a pretty approachable kind of person. Okay. So, thanks, Anna. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, it says begin to utilize and believe your intuitive findings. Okay, so keep in mind, we invented the word feeling to describe conscious awareness of vibration. Okay, so your intuitive factor deals with feelings. Okay, and you will feel it. Okay, and something I heard, I was listening to Bob just the other day, and he was saying, what you really want to do is you want to think about your goal. Okay, this is something that you want to just start practicing, right? Thinking about your goal, then asking for guidance. Like just be really calm, really, be in a quiet place and just ask for guidance, a bit of help. Okay. And then sit there and just like your intuition will lead you the way. If you're focused on your goal, your intuition will continuously lead you in the right path. If you're focused on what you don't want, well, your intuition will lead you towards what you don't want too. Okay. So you just want to make sure that you are focusing on your goal most of the time. Okay. And then follow the hunches that you get. Okay. Just train yourself to do this. And it will lead you down the right. And it might not logically make sense initially. Okay. But your intuition knows the fastest way. Okay. Path of least resistance. Now it says, let's take a look at the third aspect of attitude, which is action. It is the body that moves into action. Okay. So the body, being the instrument of the mind, is the only medium through which the conscious and the subconscious mind working together are able to express themselves. So whatever idea is impressed upon the subconscious mind must be expressed through the vibration of the molecules in the body. Okay. When that vibration becomes strong, the body must literally move into action. Okay. Now I think just that gets me thinking of, for some reason, sports. Okay. You could be watching a sport like a football game or something. And you can't help, like if you're actually there, and you're following a team, and the energy in the crowd is just like so high. You're thinking, you're watching the game, and if someone scores a goal, like you just can't help but just to get up and cheer. Like that is your body just responding to the energy. Okay, the energy that's not only outside of you, but it's within you. It's the thoughts you're thinking, it's the feelings that you have. Okay, and it just must be expressed in action. Okay, it says, if the mind is in a conflicting or confusing state, that confusion will be evident in a person's action. Okay, they will start going here and end up going there. They start a project, they abandon it. They start something else. Okay, their actions are chaotic. Now, nothing of any consequence is accomplished. Their environment will generally be messy. Their automobile, for example, may appear as if they are in the moonlighting, that they are moonlighting in the garbage business. Okay. So, the outside is a reflection of what's going on inside. So, when you see someone that is not very effective, they're sort of not getting much done, it's because they're in an ambivalent state. Okay. They don't know if they're going here or coming there, or they don't know what's going on. Okay. They've got so many things running through their head, there's no order. Okay. So if there's no order internally, that means externally, there's not going to be any order either. Okay. So sometimes what you can do, if your external environment is messy and not orderly, you can actually work backwards. create order in your environment, and that's going to help you to create more order mentally. Okay, so you can actually do it backwards. If you've got a lot of projects on, maybe even just mentally, like if it's so overwhelming, all these projects, just put pen to paper and then prioritize them. What's the most important to least important, and you just go through, and that's going to help you bring more order in your mind and structure. Okay, and then you'll be able to work in a more effective manner. Okay, and you'll be more productive, and you're going to get more things done a lot more quickly, rather than if it's just all in your head. Okay, so that helps bring order. Okay, creating your 6 goal achieving activities the night before is going to help you bring order to your day the next day. Okay, that's creating order, right? You're going to be more productive, more effective, and you'll get things done. Okay, it says, on the other hand, when their thoughts and feelings or their conscious and subconscious mind are in harmony, in an orderly state, that order will be expressed in their actions. It will become obvious the person is what we refer to as focused. Okay, they are productive and may accomplish more in a short period of time than their confused counterpart would accomplish in a much longer period of time. Okay, and effectiveness is really the key to success. You want to be as effective as you can. Okay, effectiveness, like getting to where you want to go in the least possible amount of effort and time. Okay, that's effectiveness, right? And that's what, I remember sitting down with Bob, I think it was after our first year of being in the program. Nat and I were sitting down for a coaching call with him. It was actually in person, he was just coaching us anyway. And he said to us, guys, the key is you really want to ask yourself every night, like, how can I be more effective? Every night, you just want to keep asking yourself, how can I be more effective tomorrow? Like, what can I do to be more effective? And think, just when you think of effectiveness, think path of least resistance, shortest amount of period time. It makes me think of something actually about effectiveness. It says here, the principle of least action governs everything in physics, from the path of a planet to the path of a pulse of light. Okay, so electricity takes the path of least resistance every time. Like, that's why if you put your finger in the wrong place, it's going to come through you, because you're the path of least resistance more than the copper, right? So least action is the minimum of energy multiplied by the minimum of time. Okay, therefore, in moving from your present state, okay, or your present results, to the state desired, you must use the minimum of energy and take the shortest possible time. Okay, your journey from one state of consciousness to another is a psychological one. So to make the journey, you must employ the psychological equivalent of least action. And the psychological equivalent is mere assumption. Okay, so what's the assumption? It's controlling your thoughts. Okay, so I want to read that because that has to ties in with what we're talking about, attitude. Okay, the path of least resistance from where you are now to where you want to go is to control your attitude. Okay, and keep asking yourself, how can I be more effective? Direct your thoughts towards that effectiveness. Okay, you'll find a way, because if you keep asking the answer, the answer will come to you. You just got to listen to it. Where was I? Okay, I think I was here. Now let's tie all 3 parts together. It says, we pointed out that attitude was a composite of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. So there's a picture of the stick person on the bottom of page 138. And it says, illustration D shows how the 3 parts of the personality work together. Attitude is truly the composite of them all. Okay, so in essence, it is the vibration you're in, and attitude is determined by the nature of the ideas that you choose and permit yourself to get emotionally involved with. Okay, so you want to make sure that, you're not going to be able to control everything that comes through. Okay, because like I said, we have been controlled to live from the outside in. Okay, that's how we're programmed from day dot. So this is going to take, it's probably going to take a lifetime of mastering. Like I know Bob, he's been working at this for nearly 60 years. He's still working on it, right? But he he has a lot more control over himself and his thoughts, and not allowing the environment to control him, than someone who's just starting out. Okay, I have a lot more control of me than probably someone just starting out. Okay, so it's just the degree that you want to improve. You want to get better, even if you say try and be 1% better today than you were yesterday. Okay, if you can do that every day, then by the end of the week, you're 7 days, so you're 7% more in control of you than you were at the beginning of the week. Do that over a year. If you can keep improving by 1%, then you're going to be a lot more in control of you than you were at the beginning of the year. Okay, so this is what you really want to just focus on. Don't try and be perfect, but try and just catch those negative thoughts as soon as you can, and try and get out of them as soon as you can. Like straight away, like think, I don't want to stay in this vibration, because that's like shooting yourself in the foot or jumping in front of the car. It just doesn't make any sense. The physical expression is automatic. Okay, whether this choice is conscious or unconscious matters little. It is still the way it is. You can say, I didn't know. That is too bad. You lose. In life, there is absolutely no allowance for ignorance. Okay. After reviewing this information a number of times, and we recommend that you do review it a number of times, the power of attitude will be apparent. When a person's attitude shifts, everything in that person's world shifts too. Okay. If it shifts in a negative direction, the person's entire life shifts in that direction. Okay. When it shifts in a positive direction, life improves for that person. Okay. Now let's think about this. Let me just pause there. I'll just mark where I am so I don't forget. What mental faculty can you use to create this shift? Just think about it. Type it in if it comes to you straight away. We've got the mental factors. We've got imagination, will, intuition, perception, memory, and imagination, will, perception, intuition, memory, and why am I missing one? This is really intuition, memory, will, perception, imagination, memory. Did I already say that? Anyway, I've got a mental blank. Which mental faculty, it's probably the one that I'm missing. It's not the one that I'm missing. Reason. Thank you very much, Chris. Reason, which is your ability to think. Which mental faculty can you really use to create this shift? Okay, I'm not sure if that was your answer, Chris, or if you're just helping me out there for the faculty that I was missing. But think about it. Like, what do you think? What do you think is going to really help you to make the shift? Okay. I want to hear it. Okay. Well, I'm what? You can even write down. Say again. Okay. So let me read this again. It says, when a person's attitude shifts, everything in that person's world shifts too. Okay. If it shifts in a negative direction, the person's entire life shifts in that direction. Okay. When it shifts in a positive direction, life improves for that person. Okay. So really think, which mental faculty can you use to really help you create that shift? And the answer is your perception. Okay. You want to work at changing your perception. Because think about it, right? There's good and bad in everything. Absolutely everything. I could tell you, I've got these ear pods in my ear, the wireless ones. I can tell you what's really great about them. I've got no wires, I can get up and I can walk around. There's nothing connecting me. It's wireless. That's amazing. That's so good. But I can get really, really frustrated with them too, because the battery runs low. I could think of all these negative things. Sometimes it cuts in and out. Like, there's good and bad in everything. But what are you focused on? If you're focused on the negative, if your perception, like you actually, it's going to put you in a negative vibration. Okay. But if you're focusing on the good in it, then, that's your perception. So you can literally flip your perception to, like what I was saying about W. Clement Stone, look for what's good in it. Okay. Look what's good in the situation. Look what's good in the person that you're speaking to, your boss or your spouse or, your family member. It doesn't matter. Look for what's good in it. Your finances, look for what's good in it. You could hit rock bottom and still find what's good in it. That doesn't matter. It's your perception. And often I've given an example of, you could get two people, one, both of them have $1,000 in their bank account. One person has come down from, let's say, having 10,000 in just a month ago, and they've come down to 1,000. And another person's never had $1,000 in their bank account before, and they've come up to 1,000. They both have the same result of having $1,000. One person could be feeling really awful about it, and someone else could be feeling like, wow, like the whole world is opening up in front of them. They're feeling so stoked because they've actually got $1,000 in their bank account, right? Same situation or same result, okay? Situations will always be different, but same result, but completely different perceptions. One person's seeing good, one person's seeing bad, okay? So I think that's a great example. Your perception really controls the vibration that you're in, and you can, by just shifting it for looking for what's good, you can create a positive shift. You start directing positive energy. Okay. Now it says it becomes evident how and why most people's attitude with respect to the economy or the world in general is being controlled by the media, but clearly understand the media is not to be blamed. Conditions or circumstances are not to be blamed. If we're having a problem, our conscious choice is where the problem originates. Okay, it's our conscious choice. So everything is a choice. You always have conscious control of what you want to think. Okay, you always have control over yourself. All right, and these are choices that no one else can take away from you. Okay, it comes for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Conscious choice is where all future success begins. Okay, so you can use your conscious mental faculties to start directing the energy to where you want to go, start creating and focusing on the images that you want, right? And that's when your attitude is good, because that's going to control the way you feel or determine the way you feel. And then that's going to control the actions that you're involved in. Okay. And that's when you can go into an upward spiral. Okay. And your results start to improve, because the results, like I said before, are just a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. Okay. So it's very, very simple when we boil it down to simple terms. Okay. When I really boil it down to the simplest term, is that you always have control and you always have a choice. But it's up to you to exercise that choice. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? That's pretty much we're up to key points, but I'm not going to go any further. I think we've covered a lot. But I want to give you guys a quick chance to ask me any questions that you have. And if you don't have any questions, we're going to leave it there. Okay. Let me just check here. So again, okay. Not sure what you mean there, Anna. Once you know the good in stuff, maybe there's more to this. Is there the next step? I'm not sure what you mean. Are you asking me what's the next step once you can see the good in things? Is that what you're saying? Once you know the good in stuff. Well, the more you do focus on looking for the good in things, right? Think about it. If you train your mind to see the good in everything, right? That is, you're exercising your mind. You're creating a great habit. That's going to keep you feeling good. Remember, vibration determines what we attract. Okay, you will attract you whatever's in harmony with you. So if you're thinking good thoughts, if you're focused on looking at a certain situation and looking for what's good in it, well, you're literally sending that positive energy out. It's positive. It's not negative. It's positive. Okay. And you will get back to you more energy of the like nature, okay, which is positive. Now, that energy could come through a thought to solve a problem. It could become, ideas. It could be a person that can help you solve the problem, whatever it is. But you will attract positive things of a like nature. Okay. What comes next, or is it that simple? Well, it's that, let's keep it simple. Start with that. Start with just focusing on what's good. Even carry around, maybe like get some kind of little diary. I not at this desk. I was just at like a shop the other day, and I saw they had little diaries. They were quite small, and I thought I'm going to buy one. I'm going to make a that's good diary, okay? And that's what you can do. Just keep a little diary with you that you can keep in your purse or your pocket or your bag, or even just keep it on your bedside table. And then write down a couple of things that you did really well that day, or good things that have happened to you today. And always look for maybe 3. Okay, so don't just write whatever you initially think of. If it's just 1 or maybe nothing sometimes. Force yourself to look for 3 good things. And that's training your mind to look for what's good in you, or in the day, or in this current conditions and circumstances. That's training your mind. Okay, and what you're doing is you're reframing. You're using your perception to look for things that are good. Okay, and that will set you up for huge amounts of success. So yeah, keep it simple. That'd be my advice right now. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I think we're going to leave it there. I haven't had any other questions come through, but I've really enjoyed teaching this lesson. Oh, hang on, we got another one. Let me answer this one. So if I'm feeling frustrated, it's to do with the thoughts I'm having. 100%. I remember when I first got started with this Thinking Results program, my first year and even my first few months, and I used to be so frustrated because I was trying to gain control, and a bit of a perfectionist, and if things aren't, I was actually quite impatient too. If things weren't changing straight away, I'd be frustrated. But if I wasn't getting the results I wanted straight away, I was frustrated. Okay, so something I had to really work on. But if you're in a vibration of frustration, well, you're going to attract more frustration. Okay, so yes, your frustration is caused by the thoughts you're thinking. So if you're feeling frustrated, just go back to, okay, what am I thinking? Has the situation got control of me? And if it does, then you got to change it. And what I would recommend is just writing out, okay, what thoughts would I be feeling? Sorry, what thoughts would I be thinking if I had achieved my goal right now? Would I be letting this situation make me feel bad? Probably not. Write it out. Like, how would I be thinking? How would I be feeling if I had achieved my goal? And how would I be behaving about this situation? Right? And then what you're doing is you're setting new thoughts in your mind. Okay? And just really sit back once you've written it out and just embody it and just think, wow, feel the difference. Okay? Don't let frustration control you. It won't get you the results you want. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me. Like I said, I love teaching this lesson. It's so important. And I've done it a bit different today. I didn't use any slides. I just really want to go deeper into what's in this book. Okay. Because there's so many good things. Like mine's full of highlights. Okay. And underlines. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I look forward to speaking to you guys over the next few days or on the next webinar next week. Have an awesome one. Take care.